everyone, and welcome to Behind the Movies, the podcast. My name is Emerald, and I am your host. Behind the Movies seeks to understand the thought process of those who works behind the scenes, their experiences, and their struggles. And today we have with us Mr. Nathan, who is a director and a directing coach. So you have taught hundreds of students, and you have as well directed a good filmography. So I want to know what drew you to this industry. What inspired you to want to create films?
Oh, okay. So thank you for having me on this show, on this podcast. I can't say that there's a particular thing that drew me to the industry. I think I found myself in the industry, like, mistakenly. So, but I was just doing, I kept doing it because like I had somebody who was working in the industry and would always drag me to come along with him. So, but I fell in love with it when I saw how interesting the work can be. It was a gradual process because I find as a very young person, when I started, I was like a teenager, right? I started because I went on a film set in Kaduna and then we were shooting. I was a PA, right? I was doing a PA job at the time. That was my first gig at the time. And I came from just to do that. So I was enjoying the thing. I was enjoying the whole process of seeing people work, professional work. And, but at the same time, it was so hectic. And being my first time and I'm not so mature, I was like, I can't do this, it's too hard, right? But when I left the film set, I started missing the set and how creative people can do. And when I saw the film, it was really beautiful to see because it was a TV series I was working on. So I got a chance to act in the series when a guy who was also an actor in it was not able to. And I just did it like a couple of scenes, and I remember going to a restaurant while we were still filming because they started airing it. It was a show for Televista called Finding Aisha, and a woman spotted me and said, I saw you yesterday on TV. I was like, is this how big this media thing is? But I got scared of acting because I don't want to be known. I can't do that stuff. Right. Even though as a child you fantasize about being on TV and all of that stuff, but even as a child I knew that that's not the kind of life I want to live. So I'd rather be behind the camera than be in front of it.
So what makes a great film for you? How did the different elements come together to produce what is supposedly a great film?
Well, if I see a great film, what makes me know a great film is what I feel when I watch it. I mean, filmmakers are very intelligent people. How they make you feel something. You're not there, but you feel something, right? I remember one of the moments that made me love film so much when I saw Titanic. I was still a teenager.
Right.
I saw Titanic and I was shedding tears. I was crying, especially to what Jack and the lady there were going through, and I was like, wow. So you watch the film and you cry with them. You feel something. The emotion is the ability of a director to send emotions, right? And I've seen a lot of Hitchcock films, like Alfred Hitchcock. You watch it and you're like, how do people go to the cinemas to go and just be scared? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, great filmmakers will make you're in your room, but you're scared. You watch horror film, you're scared. It's how intelligently they make you feel. They pass that emotions to you, even though you're not there. And they do it with film. It's just beautiful for me. If I see a good film and I feel something, I feel it's a good film.
But if we're saying that a good film is what makes you feel something, then because I've seen a number of films that were maybe not the best in terms of like maybe the story just didn't go as deep as it could have, or maybe there was just something about it that just really didn't didn't particularly stand out. But then you'd see that a specific audience would tell you that, oh my god, that film really made me cry. That film really. But I'm like here and I'm like wondering, huh? Like.
Yeah.
Like, so is it a great film just because it appeals to a certain audience?
Yeah, a great film appeals to a certain audience. For example, just like music, right? Just like music, there are music I don't like to listen to, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are music I listen to on repeat. There are artists I listen to on repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Because why I feel something when I listen to this music. I love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there are films, there are music that I don't want to listen to. They are not my kind of music.
Right.
Right? You meet somebody and he tells you he's a horror film person. They love horror films. I'm not somebody who loves horror films. I love drama. Right? And I love epic films. Right? And I love landscape. I don't want to see big landscape with probably the character very small and all of that stuff you get. So I'm drawn to those kind of films. Right? So it's a lot of things that makes a film a great film, right? You might have the best story and the emotions are there, but probably the mise en scene is not, the wall of the film is not good enough, or the cinematography is not good enough and stuff like that. So it's the ability of the filmmaker to bring all of these things together. So it's very hard. It's a very hard job for a filmmaker to bring all of those elements together and put it so that when you see it, you don't question anything, right? Because as humans, you tend to question. You want to see yourself in the film. You want to see your world in the film, and even if it's not your world, even if you're watching the sci-fi, you want to relate with the laws.
Right.
Yeah, you want to understand the laws that govern that world and get immense in it. Yeah. So there's a lot of things, right? And I don't think that all films should appeal to me, right? What is great to you, what a great film might be to you, might not be to me. So it depends on your appeal and the kind of films you want to watch.
Okay. So I'm not sure about the actual numbers, but we have like quite a number of people who work as like directors on Nollywood sets. They call themselves directors anyways. And these directors don't like, I mean, I studied from you. I studied and you were my TA in LCA. And what we learned about directing, what I learned about directing, and then seeing the certain directors on Nollywood sets and them doing like the entire opposite of what we learned. Although I do understand that yes, there are limits and resources because we are working in Nollywood, but then there are certain practices that are just not done that should be done that don't rely on resources or equipment or any special things, just a personality thing. Yeah. So for the benefit of those who do need to have that meaning or the definition of what a director is like reestablished or redefined, can you really tell us who a director is, what they do, what they stand for?
Okay. Well, a director is somebody who moves. You know, a writer will fill in blank pages, or blank. Maybe just the writer sits down on a computer and fills in words, right? And what a director does is a blank screen, and he fills in those blank screen with actions and everything. He created a world and all of that stuff, but he doesn't do it on his own. He does it with the help of other people, right? So it's very important for a director to be able to communicate and collaborate. Now you communicate what you think, what is in your head, what you want to. This scene, for example, a restaurant scene, for example, what do you want the restaurant to look like? What do you want the people seated there to look like? What are they going to be eating? All of this information, the director passes it to his art director and all the team members, all right? And all of them try to achieve what is abstract, what is written on paper, what is abstract, they want to achieve it, right? And so the director controls all of that. or he doesn't impose. Sometimes he have to like get suggestion from other people. You know, his art director will say, okay, when we use this color, it's better. When we use, what do you think? He says, yeah, I think it's good. But someone might just suggest something that is very profound to you, right? But the notion of the picture we have in Hollywood is that the directors are very arrogant and they don't want to listen to anybody. They don't want to. But I think film is the most collaborative art form, right? In the music industry, like a musician would have a writer probably. If he doesn't write by himself, he will record, and you have maybe if he's a band, you have to play with drummers and all of that stuff, right? And probably about 10 people working on one music, and if he's recording in the studio, it might be just the producer or the mixer and all of that stuff. And in arts, for example, painting and all of that stuff, you just have only the artist painting on the canvas and stuff, right? But no art form brings a lot of people like film, right? Hundreds of people working on one project, 50 people working on 200 people working on one project, right? And all of them have to like collaborate. All of them are on a road to achieve one specific vision, which is the director. So the director would have to learn how to communicate his vision clearly, right? He must have patience, right? Temperance. He must be a leader, right? I think that most of like the Nollywood, I think that we have a lot of directors who don't have to actually have that skills. I think that some of them are very soft skilled, apart from the fact that there are core skills as a director. You must have visual language for your ability to communicate with just pictures, right? This you learn through. It's a long time for you to learn that and very good at it. It doesn't come at once. You have to be trying and making mistakes. I just directed a short film and it's something I'm not very proud of, but I knew my mistakes. And I don't think I would repeat those mistakes from, So filmmakers learn that you have to keep doing it, right? So as a film director, you have to like have visual literacy, you have to have leadership skills, you have to communicate properly. You have to have patience and temperance, and you have to have a lot of skills to be very good.
I absolutely agree. So can you tell us a bit about the short film?
Okay. I directed a film called Turning Point. So, but like what I'm saying, if you don't, as a director, if you don't direct, you're never going to learn, right? So this is just my business of trying to like learn, make the mistake, keep learning, you understand? And I've seen a lot of people grow by making films like that, right? Like Feyisayo, for example, I recently saw his film Breath of Life and I was like, wow. And I could see his journey because I watched, what's his name? God's Calling. That was his first film. And then he went to do Banana Island Ghost and he did another film. And you could see his journey and how he had gone. If you had not done Home Calling, you would not be able to know how to do the next film. Yeah. So you make the mistakes and you correct them in your next film. You correct them in your next. It's a journey. There's no place you would say, okay, I'm a good filmmaker and I'm just gonna relax, right? I mean, I've seen the trailer for Megapolis, this film by Martin Scorsese that is releasing in the coming months. And it's a very beautiful, and I've seen a lot of Scorsese film. Like he's in his 80s, but still making film. He's okay, Francis Ford Coppola, sorry. Right. So Francis Ford Coppola, I've seen a lot of his films, and I've seen how he had grown, and now he's releasing this film, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh wow, like it's so beautiful. He's in his 80s, but still making films, right? So and I'm sure he had learned throughout until his 80s, right?
So what can you tell us about like the film your short film that you did? Can you tell us anything about it? Like maybe the story?
Oh, okay, just the story of the lead character called Raymond. He has a younger sister who is Chisom, who is dying of cancer. And he had a group who we don't show on screen who are forcing him to kill people right? And he does it in order to get money to take his sister, to fund his sister's treatment. And he met up with a girl who is a doctor in a hospital who is supposed hospital who can cure his sister. And he is ordered to kill the girl. He had killed the girl's father. Then he met the girl, and then the group that are sending him to kill people are saying you should kill the girl. And the girl had answers to his sister's statement. So he's in that middle. Should I kill her? Would my sister be okay? Because I need her too. And he loves his sister, so he's in a moral conflict of killing her or not. So I saw the first quarter and I was very happy about it. But as a female, I was like, just, I think that most females don't want to see. You shoot something and you look at it on the screen and you're like, I should have done this. So it's always that conversation you have with yourself, like given the opportunity to shoot this and I'm going to do it differently and stuff like that. So, but it's fun.
Right. So can you tell us a bit about your process as a director? Like from scripts to execution. How does it all play out?
I love to ask a lot of questions. I've not done any feature film and all of that, but I think I read the script and I want to ask a lot of questions. A lot of questions from the writer. I have a conversation with the writer. I need to understand the writer. With the writer's perspective, right? Like this film I did, I asked so many questions. I was calling the writer every day and I was sending him notes. What do you mean by this? Why can't we, what happened here? Where's this coming from? And all that stuff, so I could understand exactly where. And we had to rewrite because of the notes I was sending. Because I was questioning him. And okay, if you say he has cancer, what stage of cancer is it?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I need to understand it in order to bring it out, right? So it was all that conversation. So I want to have conversation with the writer, then I have to do a treatment, elaborate treatment. I need to get pictures and design the scenes, right? And I remember after shooting, going back to see the rushes, I was like, wow. I was not very happy with what I shot, right? And I was like, okay, I should have done it this way. But it's for next time, you've shot it, right? Okay, so I think I talked to the writer first, trying to really understand the story. You might direct something else, right? So we have lots of conversation with the writer, and then I go back and do treatment, look at all the scenes and try to make sense of it. Read the script over and over again, right? Then I begin to discuss, look at how the wall is going to look like and everything there's the mise en scene, right? And then I start talking to art directors, cinematographers, showing them example of the kind of shots I want and the kind of colors, whatever there's there and all that stuff, right? Then I go back again. Now you talk to your actors again, you want certain emotion, you want them to emanate, you want them to so we talk about acting, we talk about everything you talk about, right?
Yeah.
Then you go on to make your film. Right? But before the film, there's a lot of process. I think I take every scene and I see how I'm going to shoot it, design how I'm going to shoot it. And it depends on the location though. Sometimes you design it and you don't get the location and all of that stuff. And I remember there was a hospital scene and I shot it. It was quite lengthy and I shot it in one place and I didn't like it. And I remember my coach, the guy that was mentoring me directing, told me that he was saying, it's too long, you shot it in one place. Next time, you should put them somewhere, there should be some movement around, maybe walking in the corridor while they're talking and all that. And I felt like I should have done that, right? Yeah, but it's a lot, if I don't do it, I might not get to learn that.
Right.
Yeah, so my process is reading the script intensely, talking to the writer, writing treatment and discussing with art directors. I have a lot of meetings with people, meeting the actors, doing a table read, rehearsing a little bit, and then we go on to film. Right?
So you said something just now that somebody advised you to next time you want to have a static shot. Like you want to have people move instead of just having them just doing them. So this I have a question. So we tend to favor a lot of movement these days. Yeah. I feel like it's probably a very, very recent thing. Yes, it did happen in the old days, but especially these days. Yeah. People don't want static. They don't want they just don't they don't want the characters to just be there and just kind of encompass space without actually moving within the space. Like, is it so wrong that you want to have a character just be on their own in the space without having to move? Like, you're like, especially when it's done with the intent to be able to achieve something. Like, if that was your intention and you knew that, okay, you could as well go for movement, but you didn't want movement for some reason, and you decided to do just this character just being on their own in this entire space for a stretch of time. Like, is that such a bad thing? That's my first question. And my second question is, why is it that these days we tend to favor a lot of movement and a lot of fast-paced cuts? Now, if you have people within a frame that kind of just exist as though it were reality, it comes off as boring. Yeah. So my second question is, why is that? Why is it that the artisticness is now boring? And the first question is, why can't we just have characters just kind of just exist within the space without movement?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I love that question. Let me start by saying this. Like, one of my favorite films, right, is this film by a Korean. It's called In the Mood for Love.
Yeah.
Right. So it's done by Wong Kar-wai. So I love Wong Kar-wai a lot. He's a very good filmmaker. And I watched In the Mood for Love, and I would see pictures are just static, right? Stationed in one place. And there's always a frame within a frame. There's always something in the foreground. The characters in the midground, and then there's a background, right? So it gives it some depth. It's really beautiful to see, right? Right. And he always shoot maybe from a window or something. It's like the way he designed the film is like this. The character who is looking and just watching these people live.
Exactly.
Right? So there was no movement like that. The camera is just in one place. I love those kind of artistic films, right? But Nollywood is very commercialized. Right? For you to be an artistic film, it's a lot for you to just be an artist, right, and not commercialized, right? And if you want to commercialize, you have to like follow the Hollywood. The way they make film in Hollywood is very dynamic and all of that stuff, right? Every director can have his style. Yet I understand that. But what I'm saying is, I can shoot a film like that. It's not like it's really bad what I did, right? Because in a wide shot, the characters can move closer to the camera. It becomes a two-shot. Two characters from a wide shot can move towards the camera. It becomes a medium shot. They come closer, it becomes closer. It can become the closer, right? So there's no need to like move the camera now. I personally don't like a lot of movements in films. Like camera movements. There are films I watch where the character is moving and the camera have to move with the character. The camera have to move with the character. I've seen like films like there are lots of films where I'm trying to get this film title, but I can't get it now. But I've seen quite long takes in films where the character is moving and the camera is moving with the character. It's following the character because he's running and you have to follow him and stuff like that to be closer to him, right? It depends on what the director wants to achieve, right? It is artistic, yeah, but sometimes it's better. Like, for example, I would prefer, I can, this is my white shot, right? And people are just living their life. I can end that film in a white shot. I don't want, cutting. I don't like films that there's too much cut.
Too much, right?
That's my personal preference, right? There's nothing wrong with it. In a film, whatever style you do is not wrong. The only question that comes up is, was the story properly told? You understand what I'm saying? So when you're designing a film, you have to put all of that into consideration. Is the story going to be properly told when I do it like this? Right? There's no wrong or right actually, right? But a lot of people might appeal to a lot of people, it might appeal. Your film can never appeal to everybody. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I recently saw a film called The Zone of Interest. It was in Cannes this year, and I saw the film. I was marveled by it. There was no movement, not too much movement. It's just people talking, they're just living their lives. And I have to go on YouTube to check how they made the film, and apparently they just put different cameras in different, people just move around their house. The actors just move around the house and all the cameras were just taking the shots at the same time. And it was so organic, it was so beautiful. I think it won the Palme d'Or in Cannes. I don't know, I can't remember, but it was, The Zone of Interest is one of the best films I've seen this year, right? And the most profound thing is that the film is about an officer who works in this, the concentration camp. They were taking the Jews,
Right.
yeah, right? So they were killing the Jews in this concentration camp in Poland. But you never get to see the concentration camp. You can only hear the sound. And this guy is living with his family peacefully. He's an officer that works with concentration camp, goes to work and come back. But he's living with his family. You can only hear the Jews crying or dying or whatever, but you're just looking at these people's life. It's very beautiful. So it's very simple. But I think those kind of films are not sell here. You get, because you need a lot of drama. Nigerians love a lot of drama. But I'm not saying that there are no directors. You can dare to do it.
Yeah.
I've seen Anila, it's very beautiful. It's all slow and stuff like that. But the media or people try to make people believe that Nigerians don't like the particular kind of film.
Exactly.
They like films with too much drama and exaggeration. No. I think there are people who want to watch other things in Nigeria. You just have to find the market. So
I absolutely agree. So, a number of Nollywood films try to emulate the colors and the grading of films that they just kind of just find attractive. They'll be like, oh, I like the color in that film, like add it to my film.
yeah,
And they have no idea why that color was used.
yeah,
So we're just slapping on colors to stories that do not they don't make sense if you put that type of color in it. Like for instance, you have like a happy film.
yeah.
Tell me why you're putting dark grades on this film. Like I just want you to give me a reason why. Or give me a reason why this has extremely warm tones.
Yeah.
It could actually make sense if maybe the director had a reason why those colors were like that. But then you ask them and they're like, yeah, I just saw it and that was a really nice color and probably would have made sense with them. So I'm like, yeah, let me just add it. Yeah. So what do these filmmakers who do this type of things need to understand about color theory and how it affects the way the audience perceives your film?
Oh, okay. Color theories is, I think we don't, but I'm beginning to see filmmakers take note of what kind of colors they want in a film, right? But they're very intentional now, which was not the case in the past. And everything has to do with budget and stuff like that, right? If I don't want yellows in my film, I avoid everything yellow or blue or whatever. But I think that the green, the color and what the texture and the color of what your characters are wearing and the mise en scene, the world, what you have, that should influence the green. So this should be designed way ahead of time. For example, if you watch Dune, for example, and when I was watching, I whispered to somebody, can you see the mise en scene? Can you see the colors?
Right.
These are all muted colors, the brown.
Black.
Even if there's a yellow, it's a darker shade of yellow, and everything just blends into it. You can only see an actor the director wants to stand out in the scene wearing a different color, right? But there's just something about it, and the grading is brownish. It complements the environment because it's the story is about the desert, and you watch a film like Matrix, for example, and the grading is a kind of greenish, and the actors are wearing mostly black and all of that stuff, dark green, and so on. And everything just comes together when they grade it. When you go to grading, because there's no color you have to like deal with. You don't have a problem with color. Maybe somebody's wearing a color of costume that is very, very different, that would give you problem, because all of these things were done before producing the film. So it's then the grading have to like, because when I saw Matrix and I saw something on, I think I was watching it on YouTube, and it says that it chose the color of green. The grade is a kind of greenish. The whole wall was kind of greenish, and they were like, it's because green is associated with coding. You know, when computer codes and stuff like that. So it was very profound if you hear those kind of things. Yeah, it was something that influenced. Is the wall like, I cannot shoot a film in Lagos, and it looks like the grading will look like the same if I'm shooting in Sokoto, for example, which is a desert. Right. And the desert in Sokoto might not be the same color with the desert in Dune in Spain. You understand what I'm saying, for example? So it's very important. There are sorry. Rest up.
No, yeah, keep going.
Okay. So there are colors that are just it affects us, like, right? I'm watching. There are films you're watching. The world is very cool and stuff like that, right? It's because of what the characters went from, how the world looks like, and where the story is set and stuff like that. So it's something that we need to really be conversing and actually put our attention to.
Right. Thank you so much for that. So, should a filmmaker make good films that are acceptable by the audience and make the art that they desire? And why should a filmmaker make films that are acceptable by the audience?
Okay.
Or make arts that they desire?
Okay.
And why is making this decision, like the decision making in itself is kind of like it's affected by who this person, the filmmaker, is as a person. So why is it that the decision of deciding where your films are going to go as art, or who you are directing this to, why is it that it comes from a place of who you are as a filmmaker and not just generally what you feel like you want to do?
Oh, okay. I think that the kind of films you make as a director or filmmaker is very. Some of them are very personal to the directors, right? But I think that there comes a time where the director is like, okay, you have to commercialize. You know, some people will want to be popular. Directors want to be popular. Directors just want to make money out of their films, because if you don't make money, you might not get money to make another film.
Right.
Right. So I think the directors I've seen in Nigeria where a lot of them do films, commercial films, but they go back and do personal films, because the personal ones is how they want to tell it, so the kind of story they want to tell. Right. And some of them are they desire their film to actually travel. Right. And films that travel, most of the times they're very artistic films. Right. Which might not appeal to audience. Right. I'm not saying that it might not appeal to all audience. I'm saying that the general population of people who want to watch film and get entertainment might not be able to watch. You might not like those kind of films. Yes. So I love very artistic film, for example, personally. Right. But I think that a lot of people, a lot of directors love being artistic, right? But they want to be famous, they want to commercialize and make money out of their films, right? Because they cannot make an artistic film and be broke, for example.
Right.
So they have to make films that appeal to the audience, right? So they can make money out of it. But many directors will come back from that commercial zone, go back to themselves.
But like, is there a way to marry the two?
Yeah, of course. Some directors are just commercial directors. Right? They do commercial works. Like Kaide Kazumi is very commercial. Konya Falan is very commercial. And stuff like that. But there are people who are very artistic. Right? Baby Sosori is very artistic, and his film, they're very artistic and they're very commercialized at the same time. Right? Home Calling didn't go very far. I think he said he never made money out of that film because it's a Christian film and all the churches will call him and get it for free. To watch it right? So he didn't make money out of that film. Right? But I think he made money. I think that Banana Island was also a commercial film. And but the last film he did, Breath of Life, is very artistic and at the same time very
commercial.
Right? So he had brought the two together. Alright? But most people, I think that the best time you can be very artistic is in the beginning of your career. Right? That's where you want to tell your personal stories and your story tell. But once you get into the industry and you know, that's how directors announce themselves to the world. They announce themselves that they are good directors by being very artistic. Right? That's when the companies, commercial companies, start to call you to make their films for profit. Right? And then you can do that all through your life, and at the end of your life you're like, okay, I want to do very profound films again. Yeah, very good films and artistic films. You know? So that is like starting, and then at the end of your life you're like, okay, I need to do very good films. It's not about the money anymore. You get so I think you can marry the two at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. So the writer's eye and the director's vision. Yeah. These two things, they clash a lot in the scene of filmmaking. Instead of being used as a driving force towards making a masterpiece. Why do you think this happens?
Okay. Well, I don't think there's a big problem. I think we're just trying to make a problem out of it. There shouldn't be a problem, right? Okay, because and you see like writers, most especially upcoming writers, will be like, what I wrote is not what I saw on TV. Right. Yeah. The director messed up my script. Right? Whatever. But if the film is good, even if there are changes in the script, if the film is good, they embrace it. You understand what I'm saying? If the film is bad, they can exempt themselves because the director is always on the forefront. If the film is bad, he's the one that will be killed. He's the one that will be criticized. Right? But this is it. The writer's job is to write. When you write, I know it's a very difficult thing. Right? Once the script leaves your hands and goes to the directors, it's no longer a script. It is your script, but it's no longer yours to worry about. Yet, if the director does a bad job, the media or everybody but the person will come at him. If the film is not good, they will come at him. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I think we need to learn to let go. Right? Writers should learn to let go.
But
obviously. Once they finish writing, they should. But I think that the director should have a conversation with the director. Right? What do you see when you write those words? Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's all of that things. I don't think the writer should hold on to it. Like, okay, if you're somebody who holds on to it that much, then you should be a writer director. You write your stuff and write it yourself. Yeah. But in the commercial space, you write it. The moment you hand it over to the producers can change the script and do certain things on the script. They can call you and say, okay, we want to work on the script like this, we want to do this. You understand? They can, and you should be the one to write it. But you cannot write a script and you will not have it touched. Because you have to it's a conversation, you have to try and make the film better, the script better. You understand? So, but you cannot write a script, for example, commercially, commercial writers are very amazing people. I don't know how they do it. Then they write scripts. They say, okay, we need this script in 6 months, and you sit down and write it. So we need this script in 2 months, and you sit down and write it. Right? But when you're writing, in the Nigerian space in Nollywood, we don't have a lot of time for development.
Right.
So everything is on the rush in development and stuff like that. So, but if you really want to make films, development takes years. You write a draft, they come back, look at it, okay, twist this thing, you touch it. It takes a long time for you to get a very good story, right? But when it's very done in a rush, it means even shooting it might be in a rush. There's no time to actually read the script and check the story and look at it and make it better. Right? Everything is rush. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So it's writers cannot just write script. Like every idea is from them, and then they just hand it over to the director and say, okay, shoot it the way it is. The director might see something the writer is not seeing, or might want to talk to the writer. There must be a conversation between the writer and the director. But when it comes to the directing, I think that the writer has to hands off.
I feel like this has like so many like different like things happening in the background because for instance now you can write something and like I'm gonna speak from experience, and then I also have like a couple of writers that I know who have also experienced the same thing. So I wrote something and I was actually working on that set as well as the AD. And in front of my eyes,
they were changing the
they were just destroying the scripts. They were changing the dialogue. Maybe if like they're like, okay, because sometimes obviously I understand that on sets you can be pressed for time. There's probably like delays, like things happen on sets. I can understand, but the thing is, when you start to hack so much off from a script, I think from that script there were 10 scenes that we didn't shoot.
Oh, okay.
And the more you remove scenes
that's what
from the film, the worse it. They do those in front of my eyes. And the director knew that I was the writer. At some point, he had to ask me like, "Are you okay?
Was you angry?
I was looking at him. I was like, "Look," like because he knew that what he was doing was not like proper. For instance, because the truth is, at the end of the day, people watch films. Half of the time, when there's an issue with the story, they don't say the director did bad. It's only when it comes to like maybe acting, cinematography, and everything that they tend to criticize the director. Half the time, if the story is bad, they'll say the writing is rubbish. But then they don't know that the script might have actually been really good, but then something happened on set that made them remove and add and do the most unnecessary things. And like so a lot of times like that's where the beef between the two come in. Because a lot of times, I mean, I've written scripts a handful of times. Never once has the director ever called me to be like, okay, can you talk to me about your script because we're going on set soon? Never.
Okay.
This has never ever happened, and I know a couple of people who this has also never happened to as well.
Okay.
The director doesn't call nothing.
All right.
So the beef is there because, and then it's not as easy to just say, okay, then become an actor.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, some writers do not want to be in front of a camera. I just want to write and have my story told the way it is written because it was written with intent.
All right, it's okay. I understand what you said. I understand writer's concern, right? But it's not very ideal to take out scenes. Like you said, 10 scenes is a lot to take out from the film. But I think it has to do with budget and a lot of other things, right? But I don't know, there are levels to these things, right? If you're working for production companies in Lagos, the biggest production company in Lagos or Abuja or anywhere in Nigeria, I don't think scenes will be taken. It depends on how big the production is. Because if they are shooting, there must have been a lot of pre-production and scheduling, which might not warrant that to happen. Like, okay, I didn't shoot 2 scenes today and then you take it off completely. It doesn't work that way, right? Because when there's a lot of pre-production and a lot of preparation before you go on set, I don't think it's possible to do that. But when you're doing low-budget films, it's very hard, right? Because the producer is looking at you're falling behind schedule and the producer is looking at if I take out this scene, the story might still hold. I might still have a hold on the story. And he takes it out. Right? Because he doesn't want to keep the crew and the actors for another day, which is a lot of money. You understand? But when you go even lower, it's even worse. You just crash certain dialogue and say, okay, just say this one and leave this one. And the writer will get angry, okay, these words I thought about them before writing. Right? It came from somewhere. And some of those words, writing is very difficult. When you change something in scene 1, it affects scene 7.
Exactly.
So it's not like it's a small change. You can change something, the dialogue in this scene, and it affects the whole film.
Exactly.
Right? So if you're changing dialogue and you're not changing it with that in mind, then probably you're going to get yourself into trouble. Right? The story might not be properly told, and a lot of things might go wrong. You get it? So I don't think it's ideal, but there's nothing wrong for me as a director to tell an actor to see the lines like this and stuff, like the way it's written. Because sometimes you're shooting and you just feel like this doesn't sound like everyday conversation. Film is supposed to be like people who the camera is not there, you're just talking in normal conversation.
Right.
So the words are supposed to be like as normal as possible, the way we talk, the way we're talking now. Right? If it sounds very official in a very unofficial setting, the director would say, you should change it and see it. I don't see anything wrong with that, right? Do you see anything wrong with that? with it? So these are very minor changes, right? But major changes like taking out the scene and cancelling lines and all of that stuff is I don't think it's okay. It's when you go to edit and you say, okay, I'm going to like do the scene. Okay, I'm going to take out this line. That one is okay because like you're trying to tell the story. The story is made in post-production properly. You shoot it. Is the material you have used to tell the story. The story is made in post. So post-production is like a really big part of storytelling because you have to change. You can take a scene that's supposed to be from scene 5 and you move it to scene 1. You can change certain things to just tell the story in a certain kind of way. You understand? But chopping out scenes, and I'm sure there are things that are very major, especially budgeting, that make you a producer or director to chop out scenes. Right?
Yes, but it's still painful.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's painful.
So what is are there any words of encouragement you want to give to new and upcoming directors?
I'm also an upcoming director, so filmmaking is very hard. You must be very resilient and you must be in love with the craft to be able to stay relevant and be able to push. To say, okay, I must do this, nothing can scare me from doing this thing. You will try and fail until you get there. So filmmaking film is a beautiful thing. Don't give up, keep learning. There's never a point where you say that I'm done, I'm very good at this thing, I know it. The moment you get there, that's when you're gonna crush. So I think the industry needs people who really love filmmaking, who really love the arts. But if you don't love it, then there's a problem. The industry has a problem as well. So find that love, right? And put in the work. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
I would love to have you again.
Yeah.
So before you go, can we play a game? So this.
I don't like games. I don't like games in any form of game. But I can do that. I can do this.
But since you don't like games, I won't push. I'm just thankful that you came.
No, what kind of game was it? That's the game.
Okay, so we're supposed to play rock, paper, scissors, And then whoever loses has to pick one of the papers in there, read what's on it, and then do what it says you should do.
Please. Please.
Okay.
Let me not do it.
Okay. Alright then.
I'm scared of food of them.
Well, I mean, they're pretty simple. So far, so good.
No, I don't want to do it.
Okay.
Thank you for allowing me to skip this.
Thank you so much. I've absolutely loved having you on here. And I'm pretty sure our viewers would have learned so much from you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alright, everyone. So we'll see you same time, same station next week. Bye.
Bye.